like. No mistaking the frequency on this one. Hey, how are you all doing? So good to see ya. It is Thursday, I do believe. Isn't that what they say? It is Thursday. Let's get things in here tuned in and into focus. Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you for stopping in. I know you have a lot of places you could be, and it's an honor to have you here amongst the rest of the free thinkers. How is everyone? So good to see you. And we've got another jam-packed hour. We're going to get right to it. Just want to say hello to all the moderators. And yeah, Troy, I think I am too. Hey, Occultist, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Claudia J, hello, and David, and hey, Quantum Water. There's just a lot of people in here. Lois, how are you doing? Hey, speaking of tomorrow, got Big Al and David Barry coming on, so I'm looking forward to that. We all should be. It's going to be good. Happy birthday, and to those who have one and an anniversary, peace. Tonight on the Steiger Perspective on the Artist First Network. Tune in. Going to talk about the reality of our inverted existence. And boy, this document here really kind of brings that into that. What does the t-shirt say? T-shirt says, technically speaking, the glass is completely full, no matter what. It's either going to be filled with air or something else. So, you go about and look at life that way, you're going to be a much more happier camper. So, yeah. All right. Man, it's just so good to see everyone in here. Let me tell you, this document, wow. Whether it's real or not, the words are profound, and they do have a resonance, a frequency to them, don't they? Yeah, it does. Hey, how many of you believe in automatic writing? How many believe that, you get messages, downloads? Josh, consciously aware, who is working a new job. Way to go, buddy. Miss you, and so does the community. He got many messages from Source, and there's many of you who have it as well. So, and I sent out, I counted it just a minute ago, 136 requests for the document. That's a lot. It struck a chord with many of us, and for some of others, it, wow, rang the bell, didn't it? It does. By the way, the Steiger Perspective is on artistfirst.com at 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Denver time, Mountain time. I want to read something to you and see what you get out of this. I won't put it up here. I'm just going to read it, and so that you can see. And then tell me what you think of this. Energy is never wasted nor keeps its same structure. There was a root of our ancestry who knew a time before this life form came here. It's interesting. It's clearly obvious that we are under something here. Call it whatever you will. They were murdered, or shall it be said, sacrificed to this entity, and it is neither singular nor plural in its structure. Their form of what we call consciousness is unlike anything our species had ever encountered before. Our place in space was a place where harmony ruled the system. There was a cooperative relationship with other life forms within the co-op. Our ancestors had advanced to a level where walking from one dimension to another, back to theirs, was effortless. What we call Earth was much different. It looked nothing like Earth today, other than being smaller in radius. It's interesting. The Earth back then was a place of connectings, and our ancestors looked different as well. We were a species that was evolving much faster than those around them. They knew a knowledge that has been taken away and made forbidden to man today. Now, this is interesting. When this presence entered into our dimension, it was not of this matter, capital M-A-T-T-E-R. It was not of this dimension's consciousness. It was foreign. It was not known to exist. There was, and still is nothing to compare to it. It is neither good or evil, but it is both and exceeds our dimension's ability to comprehend it or even be aware of its presence. Our world was one of the first to experience the causality effect of this life form. The very energy construct altered, and once altered, it begins to alter all mass. There is only the residual impression of the former state of being that remains. And everything from this 0 point now is what is called matter. The change is never recognized for the influence of this life form. It is seen as, get this, the beginning and the end, that which has no beginning, that which has no end. Once an energy form other than itself feels the change, it will no longer remain or remember the change, for it sees itself as being part of this life form. But as much as it has affected our dimension and altered matter, there has been a dramatic change being observed in some of, get this, human bloodlines, and have found a way to counter this life form's effect. And each new generation adds to the collective in a consolidation, and a consolidation is taking place. Wow. What if, in fact, more and more is coming to this community? When we think of a consciousness, this document, I'll tell you, it's brutal. The one that we're about to get back into, it is. It's not sugar-coated in any way. And what the rest of what we're going to read, yeah. So what if, in fact, we are the causality effect of a greater consciousness that this dimension never knew of? And if something, you can't define something if you don't know what it is. Man, in its arrogance, thinks that it knows everything. And we've been proven to be the fool. All right, let's get right into this, folks. I just find this so freaking interesting. Yeah, all right. One point I want to bring out. I got a lot of emails on this one. So remember the guy who asked the question, the insider, about the battle taking place and about graduating to higher life forms. And he said, I'm going to not come back. It's very obvious we have gotten into this dualistic in everything. And I like this. I had to go back and look at this. You are confusing a few matters. There is just one struggle. It is now, here on this planet and on a personal level, meaning you only. There is no enemy you can attack except yourself. If you are busy attacking something else, you are wasting precious energy and you will fail. If you succeed, there will be no struggle anymore. Yeah. Okay. We're going to get right into where we left off. The question is, what is your interpretation of the divine law, and how can I make peace within myself? Answer: knowing yourself and where you really are the two most important issues that you should be involved with. It is your task to find it. In fact, if someone gave you the correct answers, it would not mean a thing to you, for they would not be attached to you in any way. They would if you would have found them yourselves. If you find the answer to those, you have accomplished a huge part of your duty towards yourself. After that, your task would be living according to the divine law, which is revealed to you after that stage until departure. He goes on to say that I'll be back tomorrow. Here it picks up again. This is oddly enough, it's amazing how we're very close to the date, almost 50. Well, let's see, that would be 14 years ago. Wow. Okay. Statement from Insider. Note, I am Insider. AC 13, the former proxy I was using disappeared. So I'm using another one with another ID. Statement by Insider. Insider/AC13 again. Yet another proxy. The last one disappeared too right after posting. It's getting difficult for me to enter and stay here, but I will go on as long as possible. You know, when you read that one, and everything, by the way, I wrote someone, if you study codes, all ancient manuscripts were written in a code. That's how writers did it. And some of us pick up psychically, mentally, that there's something different about what we're reading. Yeah, it's because, you can see that. But just a point, it seems like he's, or whatever this is again of a higher, I don't know, dimension. I don't think that's the right word. Maybe a spiritual status. I don't know. Question to the Insider. Are you familiar with the black nobility? I have traced and linked all ancient royal families of Europe and the Middle East still present to this day. I know their names and their connections to power, wealth, and influence across the world. I can even identify the very person who is the potential Antichrist. You see, when you read something like this, you know that, yeah, all right. He has all the correct markings, a wonderful, benign young man who has yet to realize his full potential as a world leader. The black nobility love this young man. And lastly, are you a small part of the black nobility? Insider answers. The dark nobility is a faction which operates on their own. They have different roots, which have been described in texts written by my ancestors. It is a much smaller group than most would claim, because the core is different to the outer walls. Wow. How many of us have a different core than what our outer walls are showing? They are the ones which you all confuse with my kind and therefore direct the hate towards the wrong ones, as shown in this thread too, by the lesser intelligent. Wow. Bam, baby, dropped a dime on your ass. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This stuff is interesting. Let's go on. About the Antichrist. There are at this moment literally billions of Antichrist. I'm not one. You will find them among Christians, Muslims, Jews, atheists, Satanists, agnostics, Buddhists, Hindus. They don't need a letter to be more Antichrist. I have to make clear that the Christ has nothing to do with Jesus of Nazareth. That part was later fabricated. Yeah, we know that. The world is coming to know it. Question. Gnostic number 13. Do you subscribe to the view that our dualistic reality provides excellent opportunities for souls to develop unconditional love so that they may transcend our dialectic universe rather than escaping from it? Do you also believe in the law of balance and karma, allowing a soul to be king in one lifetime, a beggar in the next? If so, it doesn't really matter whether you're a member of the elite. It may be a unique experience on soul level, as unique as any role in society, as long as the soul progresses. Is the historian Lawrence Gardner a powerful member of the elite, as Icky claims, or is he just an average guy with access to hidden information? Thanks for your communication, Insider. Hope this thread is not a practical joke by some juvenile person. Trust you are real. Answer. It is the task of every soul to accomplish that while in this human shape. There is a part that can be called escaping, which will be followed by transcending. If failing, reincarnation. However, the word love is misunderstood. It is not meant to be the love in human terms, which humans are enslaved by. That is the corrupt version of the real one. The divine law controls what is called karma, but it is much broader and harsher than people want to accept. Example, someone who gets cancer and dies a slow, painful death deserves it. That person is being corrected. It is for his own good. Sounds harsh. That's the way it is. That's the way it works. Just because it comes across as negative in this realm does not mean it is negative in the big picture. What you are talking about, reincarnating into the opposite of your former life, there is no universal law which states that that will definitely happen. Reincarnation is a fact, though. But if you achieve your task, there is no reincarnation. No need to experience all levels of life on earth, for they are mainly pointless to experience. Isn't that true? As to Gardner, Gardner is one of those persons who wants to be praised and recognized by people. So he gets it in return for some favors, spreading misinfo which here and there contains the facts which hooks people. He was initiated in certain levels, but it is not as in-depth as one would think, including himself. He is clever, though. He is a member of at least 6 societies, although 3 of them are closely linked and could be seen as one, so 4 at least. But these have only as much power, control, as you, the people, give them. People like Icky I think it's Ike. I can never get his last name. Who cares? Ike are giving them more power unknowingly. By the way, I am real. Question, is this because Christians teach that individuals should be under the control of a God who is holy? Or should I say one who judges right and wrong? Answer, Christianity is about idolizing a human called Jesus of Nazareth's birth, which is an abomination. Christians teach what they have been told to teach by the ones they oppose. I can tell you who the 4 individuals were who wrote the Hebrew Old Testament and the exact date, if it suited me. Same about your New Testament, which was gathered by 6 people from 2 different areas. Question, and why do you misspell simple words such as malicious? I find that very interesting. Answer, English is not my native language, not even my second nor third, maybe fourth, and I type fast without checking, so I can answer as many questions as possible in a limited amount of time. On top of this, I just realized I have to type even faster because the proxies I use disappear. You know, a lot of people didn't like the I'm talking about with YouTube. They found it to be unacceptable for, their standards, their advertising standards. Fine. We don't need it. We'll go on with it. Okay. Why do you choose to speak now? Good question. Answer. Some of us have the task to do it within certain boundaries. How do you suppose certain knowledge in past times was suddenly there? Luck, chance, coincidence? Question. This is a long one too, by the way. What is this divine law you talk about? 1. Why do you manipulate this world? 2. Why do you manipulate this world? Okay, well, I think we got that the first time. 3, how do you know who is allowing you? 4, is your job given to you or taken by you? 5, are you a human being? You again. The divine law has a purpose for you, and it is not on this planet. Prove you are worthy again to be released. Me again. I know it and I can feel it. There is a purpose for my life, but I don't even know who I am, let alone that I know what my purpose is. How is this knowledge gained? By hard work, or does it simply happen to one? Do you know the purpose of your life? If so, how do you learn about it? Regarding the planet we live on which planet do we live? What is the planet Earth anyway? That is a profound question right there. What is the planet Earth? Is it simply the science that it's a rock and, 9, what can you tell us about Mohammed? Answers. He goes to say 0. The divine law is the manifestation of the will of the superior one, which not only creates everything that exists within this universe, but also maintains, nourishes, balances, energies, and renews it. It also reigns in other realms, get this, folks, including the realm you originally belonged to. Bam! How about that one? Where have we heard that before? We're hearing it more and more. Answer to his first question, number 2. I have answered this many times. It is our duty. Question 3 and 4. Rituals have a purpose. If you are doing something which was not allowed, or doing a task which was not given to you, you will suffer during these rituals. In your daily life, you will notice it too. Emanations have many forms, and one who knows about these matters will have no trouble recognizing with whom he is dealing with and what the message is. 5, I am like you, present in this human shape. 6, this has been answered by me in the previous post. In short, you have the duty to gain it. Temperance will lead you to the rightful place from where it all starts. But before this, you must know yourself and what this place is, where most people go wrong. Otherwise, your thoughts will be filled with errors which will lead you to erroneous ways. 7, yes, these matters are not passed on to you in detail by someone. That actually will lead to the opposite of what needs to be achieved. Hence, my way of answering understandable this. Don't understand that? Okay. You can be guided up to a certain point. Then it's up to you. Answer number 9. Looking at the way you summon his name, I assume you are a Muslim. It is a sin to worship, idolize, praise humans who were part of this planet in any way, shape, or form, including when talking, writing about them. You, by adding those letters in brackets, have just done that, elevating his name up to that of higher beings. A human is corrupt while on this planet. Each and every, I think it's each and single one of them. A death does not change the personality one had and leave behind here. Do not feed it. Praise and prayers may only be offered to perfect beings. Wow. He goes on. Muhammad, like Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Buddha, a human who was led to believe he was a knower, or like mentioned earlier, master of the game. It is very easy to make humans believe they are enlightened and know the truth, and then thinking it is their task to wake up others. He was used, and his legacy is still being used to divide people, just like the other religious ideologies and philosophies. 2. Of his closest assistants, who were servants of the bloodlines, one of his wives was 2. Bloodline servants were also assistants of Jesus, Buddha, Moses, name them all. After his death, it was made sure by these 3 that his followers would be divided, which was the main thing Muhammad was told to be against. So Muslims who believe in separate streams of Islam are actually rebelling against their own prophet. And that would be pretty much all Muslims. The Quran has a core of truth, but it is floating in a sea of perversions together with other holy books. It is written by 4 individuals from 3 countries, one being Western, 2 Middle Eastern. Question, Insider 13, who are you? Are you Antichrist? Excuse me. Answer, Jesus of Nazareth is not the Christ, nor is anything I have said Antichrist. The ones who claim the opposite are. Question, so is a family where the children are naturally born with this ability, visualization, part of the bloodline? Answer, no. In fact, someone who has no connections to these families whatsoever can have this ability too. This ability is there for everyone to receive. You have to dial in. It is being provided by the divine law to everything that searches for it. Well, that's reassuring. I tried to make this clear earlier. The blood, genetic, etc., are not as important as they seem. The physical realm is weak, and it cannot affect the divine. Someone with no connections to the families can be affected by divinity in such a way that she could surpass anything the bloodlines ever could achieve combined. Certain individuals get born into the bloodlines to be able to reign over the people under certain circumstances. That is what the bloodline mainly is about. Question, to me, elite means those who place money before people or any real value at all, and those who hold office either because they can buy it or inherit it, regardless of whether or not they are qualified. Answer, you just skillfully described your kind, not mine. Question, are you a Rothschild? Here's my question. Although petty in light of the many questions posed to you on this thread, why aren't there any of the Rothschilds listed in Forbes 500 richest people? Good question. Answer, if you read closely, you would have not asked this question. The ones who are known in public are not in control. The Rothschilds are at the same level as your Knight Templar ancestors were. You shouldn't be proud that you are from that lineage, by the way. You know, I think we can all agree on this, that these people are not ever coming out into the open, never will. That's not how they operate. He goes on to say, these known families, clans, societies are merely dancers to the tune. But to answer your question, no, I am not a Rothschild. Which family am I from? Most here talk about the bloodlines who rule, yet they do not know who they are. They wrongly assume they are the Bushes, the Clintons, the Rothschilds, etc., because some theorists researched it and some insiders told them by providing evidence. I am from a ruling family whose name rarely has been mentioned in history. No one will ever know who we are. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has been the quest of many such like-minded individuals. I am one of those. Many of you are as well. Second, you accepting Forbes as a reliable source for these kinds of lists shows you are easily manipulated and do not grasp what is happening. Bam. Question. Worthy, an interesting word. Are you expecting those of us who know about the world of polarity and try our best not to play the polarity game to believe that we need to be worthy? In whose eyes? It can only be our own. Whatever happened to the idea that the universe is within us? Gaia and all other dimensional realities are illusions. No. So the person is an illusion, right? P.S. Baby, and by the way, we don't have free will on this planet, capitalized, shouting. Perhaps you slipped. Perhaps your slip is showing. That's what it said. Answer. All right. Do you know who manufactured this new age nonsense you just promoted? Bam! If this prison is a true illusion, get out of it then right now. I dare you. Come on, take it. It is not like in the movies. You play the victim part. You do not even accept you have free will. Therefore, you will always be ruled over. Never prevail and deserve anything you get according to universal laws. Wow. He says, I'll be back tomorrow. I feel like the Terminator. I'll be back. All right. Here we go. Test. Before I start, I have to say I cannot see all posts. Some are blank. So I may miss questions. If so, ask again. Refrain from asking the same questions over and over again. First, check the thread, check my answers. I do tell about areas which were not asked about, but may have been in your mind. Read carefully. Question. And if these beings are Lucifers, answer in 5 words or less, please. Answer. You use 12 words and 1 number. Without realizing it, you stated a part of a ritual. Are you a being of Lucifer? I catch that. I do. Different beings have different characteristics, which makes it easy to identify them during rituals. If it was a malicious being guiding me, I would not be talking in the way I do. Someone who is led by malicious forces cannot write certain words, phrases, without it affecting him. The ones who are led by them also cannot accept hearing, reading certain things without getting overly mad, aggressive. See the thread for examples. This is when malicious beings are present, Every time you cuss, talk negative, plot a scheme, get violent, utter lies, support murder, get sexually aroused, get afraid, get jealous, even laugh out loud, being overly joyful, so all related to emotional passions and desires, they appear near you. 1, 2, 3, or more of them. Malicious beings are from this realm. This is your home. You cannot hate them, for they are doing their task, their rightful duty. It is connected to your behavior. Understand? You are the perpetrator. They react. They never instigate. You do. If you hate them, you are missing an important part of the reality. Respect them up to a certain point. This will also show you are conscious about them, and that will be recognized. I type malicious in parentheses because they are not malicious. They only appear to you in your manufactured perception to be so. People are perpetrators who play the victim part. Boy, this is a freaking brutal document any way you look at it. Question: how does real consciousness interface with this prison? 2, what are the techniques to break the hold of the interface and free the consciousness? Answer: 1 and 2. Depends what is meant by real consciousness and interface. From where I stand, they could be almost the opposite of what you may mean. Real consciousness is what is provided to you when you are in tune with the mind of the universe, which operates according to the divine law. They are not the same like many are led to believe. The mind penetrates everything. It rules over everything. So if you would connect with it, you may experience its unlimited power. No prison can confine this power. Hence, there will be an escape. You will be guided up to a certain point. Yet most work is to be done by you. But that is just the beginning. Much work lies ahead concerning yourself. I have explained a few times, as far as I'm allowed to, how to connect, at least how to start with it. It is truly up to you. I would hesitantly add that studying ancient texts will help, although a lot is filled with perversions and wrong translations intentionally. Folks, we have found that out here time and time again. But this only after a certain level of awakening. You will recognize and remember the small parts which are true. If you are not on that level, you will take parts of the perversions, the wrong translations, as the truth, as a few show it here, especially the ones in the religious stream, and fail. Wow. Yeah. There's so much you can comment on this. Question: care to tell us which it is? You, some sort of good guy who gives up tools, or do you rule over us? Did you change your mind or what? Answer: neutral means, in terms I use, neither negative nor positive, merely providing the tools you can choose to use as you wish. You are the perpetrator. Or would you say, I control every aspect of your life, every hour, every minute, every second, and force you what? To think, say, do? Do not be mad at the wrong individual. Be mad at yourself. All right. Question: is it necessary to know why we are here to escape, or just work out where we are? Are the answers to be found inside, or by joining societies, or by appealing top divine intervention, or all three, or none? You have answered no other of my questions. I hope I have not offended. Yeah, I mean, one guy got sentenced to another lifetime. And isn't it odd how he answered, like, what makes you think you've got a choice in this matter? You know, when you die. Answer, it is necessary to have a view of the whole spectrum. When it is partial, it will be like looking through the window while it is partially covered with a curtain. You do not know what is behind that covered part, therefore cannot act accordingly. What covers the whole spectrum? Understand this place, what and where it is. Know what you are, how you came here, why you came here, how to return. Prepare yourself for the answers. Cleanse yourself. Reach out for the mind. Speak within, without, that you are ready. Live strictly according to the answers. Folks, that is some of the most profound, simply stated guidepost. Do not join secret societies, never, whatever the circumstances are. Also, no religions, including New Age. Do not accept human gurus, prophets, priests, rabbis, imams, popes, fortune tellers, mediums, Dalai Lamas, politicians, authors, scientists, celebrities, parents, etc., as legitimate authority on divine matters. On other matters, it is your choice to accept or decline. However, accept the consequences. You only need yourself and the divine. No intervention by others in bodies. Again, no intervention by anybody. If your father asks you for a glass of water to show if you care for him and are disciplined, do you bring it directly to him, or do you take a glass of water to your neighbor and ask him to tell you what it is that your father really asked, while the neighbor did not hear it and now is drinking a glass of water himself? Am I also a neighbor? I have not touched the glass of water. I opened the door and told you to go back to your father. No one has offended me. People offend themselves. I would be offended if what I say was against the one, and if it is, I shall pay. I answer the questions from where I left and type as much as time allows me. Sometimes I skip a question because it has been answered. Other times a question is irrelevant, and now also because I can't see all posts. Question. So, what are your comments on Nesser, Planet X? Oh, I think it's Nibiru. Planet X, Pole Shift, First Contact, Second Coming. Who or what is behind these fairy tales and why? Wow. I'd like to meet the person who wrote that question. Answer. Nasera, counterproductive to you personally in the long run. Planet X does not exist anymore like so many planets, moons, stars, galaxy. Their demise, however, always bring forth something, which means they never stop being part of the whole, playing their part. Pole shift. It happened 2 times to my knowledge, and the second and third error. If necessary, it will be done again. Second coming. You returning back to where you belong after you have exceeded, which means a second coming cannot take place on earth, for you do not belong here. People who are waiting for a savior on earth to do all the work for them are failing. I have noticed some Christians have gotten angry and are attacking me on a personal level by damning me. It is their choice. I talk more about Christianity than other religions because the questions give room for that. I would say and have said similar things about other religions, ideologies, when asked about them. Question. What interests me is this. If someone takes the time and trouble to follow up the leads and clues left in numerous books and legends and sorts out the wheat from the chaff, what then? If that person puts into practice what they have learned, do they come closer to the truth that the bloodlines eventually have access to? Oh, evidently have access to. Answer: yes. Again, the bloodline is only important for ruling over people. It is not about having a special power that makes one more aware. Although the knowledge is being passed on, so therefore it appears like that. But this knowledge is not hidden. The truth cannot be hidden. It wants to be known by you, inviting you every moment of your life. That is the reason why it, through the ruling powers, is being provided to you, accompanied with perversions, corrupt additions, to confuse and make you accept the latter. There is not one written book which contains the truth, and nothing but the truth. Wow. Pick it out and live accordingly to it. Incorporate it into every aspect of your life. That is the hardest part for people, for you have to float above this physical, material world while being in the body that dictates the opposite. And there is the battle. Is it not true? How close to the truth are the writings of Neil Donald Walsh and his Conversation with God series? Are you in any way related to the bird tribes mentioned in Ken Carey's Starseed Millennium books? Is there much truth in the writings of Sheldon Neidl? Answer: the Native Americans have preserved knowledge successfully, but nowadays, in the last century or so, it is being presented in an erroneous fashion. Integration is working. About authors mentioned, like I posted before, it is not in your interest to accept human intervention, advisors, salesmen between you and the divine. They may say certain things which are true, yet it will never be complete. Wow. No one on this earth, no one on this earth has the power to free any of us. No one outside the earth sees a reason to free any of us. The divine source itself, if there is such a thing, is waiting for us to free ourselves individually. There will be no mass ascension, no mass enlightenment, and we the people have all been duped by we the people into prolonging our sentence here. We can stay here in this place for eternity if that is our choice. We have created a belief system that allows us to do so. Answer: I would leave out the sentence, no one outside the earth sees a reasons to free any of us. And if there is such a thing. About the first sentence, there was a time when there were beings who had the power to do it, but that was not their task. And the divine source is, there is no waiting, wanting. Wow, this got something, folks. Amazing. You are on the way. The other post shows that too, but living it is an important part of the task. Question: and by divine law, Christ was sent here to correct the situation? Answer: yes, but Christ did not descend into the body of a human called Jesus of Nazareth 2,140 years ago on March 20th, almost 2 hours before sunrise, which is the secret time of birth for your Son of God. The Christ, which has a different real name, but I will use this name here, appeared once, just once. And this was in another era, not even close to our era when the Jesus of Nazareth all lived in it. Do you know who keeps the knowledge about the real Christ alive? And do you know who keeps the knowledge about the fake Christ alive. The opposite of what you are thinking. Well, I've never seen anyone give an exact moment of birth for this character. Wow. Question. Why do all elitists worship Lucifer, the liar and deceiver? Answer. Billions of people on this planet are serving their own corrupt material, physical, mental, emotional desires. Are they all elitist? Oh, bam! Another one. Whoa, I tell you, some of this stuff, folks, are just like, where the freak did that come from? Question, is there currently a family feud between the higher beings? Answer. The higher beings are not in physical bodies, and they have no feuds. They are not under the control of this realm, therefore cannot suffer from this. You are referring to human bloodlines, and I reckon it is pretty obvious from what I have been writing here what the answer to your question is. There always have been some who do not do their duty. I am from a minority. People do not see a difference between the factions. Wow. Question. Red Chinese get harp, retaliation for Rita, super typhoon. Eye for an eye? What about this? Answer. Do not pay attention to the world events. They are all orchestrated to make you pay attention to them. The struggle you should be paying attention to is on a personal level. Comment by Insider. Charlene, reading what you wrote. 1, you are not acting, talking like one of that lineage, which is a good thing because they were ignoring their task. It means that subconsciously you have disattached yourself from the lineage, even though consciously you may not. This is important to understand. You have passed a certain level, which I did too almost 11 years ago. Wow, I'd like to see what the question was. 2, you excelling in certain areas is not just genes. They have a bit different purpose. It is about what I mentioned above. Let's see, this looks like it's not making any sense to me, folks. Before accepting a certain knowledge, you have to investigate where it comes from. Do you know where the knowledge that you just typed about comes from? When it was released, how it became, and by whose hands? More importantly, who controlled those hands, documenting it? I am saying this with the best of intentions. If you knew it, you would not have posted it that fashion. Investigate the roots of what you said and see for yourself. It is for your own good. Knowledge does not disappear out of nothing. It is passed on always. There are no exceptions. Excuse me one sec, folks. I don't need that coming in. Okay. I hope we can get through. We're getting close, and if not, folks, we'll see when we can pick this back up. Question. And you're part of an elite family that we despise, yet no one has ever heard of. Why would we despise someone that we don't know of? Why do we despise you? Do we even know that we despise your family? Or is it because of what you know about what we consume on a daily basis that we would despise you? If we knew what it was, and if the ones we know the names of are not the true bloodlines, and you say that you are a member of an elite family whom we despise, then you are inferring that we know you in order that we may despise you. How can this be? If the true bloodlines are the names and faces of people we do not know, is it more the nature of your presence we despise, or the position you take in life we despise? And if that is so, then do all people despise you, or just those who do not know or understand your true intent and or nature? Wow, that was a mouthful. Answer. Last time I will answer this one. It is about the misconception about who rules. Terms are being used which do not apply to my family, yet they are part of the ruling. The flawed perception of the nature of the presence and the flawed perception about the positions which lead to affecting the lives of people. Again, you are in control. One cannot despise others because one's own lack of understanding about the matter. Yet that is exactly what happens, i.e., wrong target, wasted energy. Question 13. If the divinity is passed down through your blood, what type of blood RH do you or yours possess? Are you part of the Templars or involved with the Vatican? Divinity can choose to pass its power down however it wishes to, but the blood, the genes, the physical part is such a small part of how it goes. In fact, it's not a necessity. Sounds like a contradiction. No, the proof is around you. What you said could happen, but it would be done by the ones who control the lower areas. The ones up higher do it through the daily items you consume. I want to know, what do you mean by this? I do not know you personally, but I already know I do not eat or drink 90% of what you do daily, to throw in a percentage. I do not even come close to touching them. It is pretty much everything sold. Yeah, it is pretty much everything sold with a few exceptions here and there. I must add that there are grades in this, and it has a different effect on different people. To give an example of the two extremes of people who have been consuming them for a long time, someone eating these almost gets in. Some, when eating these, almost gets into a trance. On others, it has no effect whatsoever. Most people are somewhere in between. It affects them in such a way that they do not notice. They wear out faster, get tired faster, grow older, think slower, focus on emotional, physical needs, get health problems that were unheard of 200 years ago at a relatively young age. The quality of life declines. You are not what you eat, but what you eat controls how you feel about yourself. The way it makes your body respond. Through your own ignorance and laziness, you hurt yourself. When is the last time you investigated what exactly is in what you're eating and how your soda got prepared? When looking into it and finding all these agents and knowing what they are known to cause, ask yourself, would I put this agent into my mouth of my child and make him or her swallow it? You are doing it every day to your child. Then there are electrical frequencies, as you mentioned. It is everywhere. And your house being the most active place. Have you ever cut the electricity off in your house to see what the difference in vibration is? You sleep more comfortable, for one. Wow. They're electrical. Okay, we're at page 27. I know they got 10 more to go, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get to it, but let's continue. And who or what do the elites answer to? Answer. Everyone answers to the one eventually. Question. The elite in the world, the so-called jet set society, beautiful to a pain, but always the same, repeatable features among their few types. All other reptilians, gray hybrids, human sellouts bend a knee to this level. Answer. The jet set has nothing to do with bloodlines. They are your blood. Question. Please tell me, what is your favorite occult subject? Answer. Nothing is hidden. Comment by Insider. BTN, I don't know what that means. NIL, all right. Answering certain questions or elaborating on certain issues will have the opposite effect on what needs to be achieved. It will not help you. Omar, who was near him during the death, but denied the death occurring. I don't know what this is. And the one who was close to, oh, okay. This was something else that didn't even have. All right, folks. Well, I'm getting there. And like I said, we'll get this picked up. There's 10 more pages, but wow. Let me see how everyone else is doing. This is just mind-blowing stuff. I'm sitting here going, you got to go back and read it again and again. I mean, Christ's sakes. And some of it, I just want to reject it out flat out and just say, this is nonsense. Gibberish, double talk, but it's not. There seems to be a thread of truth. I think we just need to sift out the gold on this one. Wow. Yeah, Richard Burke, I'm right there. Yes, mind-blowing. Wow. Now, I've been up since 3 o'clock. I was awakened at 3. And this stuff has, to those of you who know or experience it, I want to know, have any of you had experiences after you read this and I went to sleep asking questions. I woke up asking questions. Yeah, this is a different level. You have to filter out all of the religious ideologies. And folks, I judge myself in this situation. I still got a long ways to go. Wow. Okay. It's just, we will finish this. If tomorrow we have David and Al coming on, so we'll probably do it Monday. I think we will. I think we can get it done relatively quick. I'm just sitting here. There's certain things that are so profound. They hit you. The frequency of the verbiage, and of course, when I'm reading this out loud, now we're really giving energy and frequency to it. And woof. Okay. Remember, folks, the glass is always full. It's never half full, folks. It's always full. So you see, that was the reason why I wore this shirt, is to teach us something here. We've all been missing it. But together, it's like someone gets near the edge and says, whoa, 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 and everyone goes, whoa, whoa. And we get together and we think about this. We, pontificate it and ponder it, and we get together and, look at the chat room here. It's going by so quick. I can't even have the, I have to do the Evelyn Woods reading class, speed reading. But we're getting there. Maybe, just maybe, we're picking up enough of the knowledge that it's all individual, but I tell you what, maybe we can meet on the other side, and maybe we'll be this group and they're going to go, all right, you can go right on ahead. Yeah. How about that? I dig that. All right, folks. Thank you. See you tonight. If you tune in, thank you for watching. Tomorrow, we're going to have a fun time talking about magic, maybe talk about this a lot. I'm loving the idea of having a forum to discuss this. We need to chew on this like beef jerky. All right, folks. Peace. Thank you for tuning in. It is an honor to be in your presence, and I appreciate you, all of you. I just vote favor upon you. We'll keep on keeping on. All right, folks. Bye-bye.